I finally finished Franz Kafka, The Trial. As I said before, I thought about DNFing it at the midpoint, and I can confirm it did not really get better. So Yosef K cannot figure out what he's being charged with, and he can basically get barely any information about his trial in general. So this is a classic book, as I mentioned. It can be read as an existential tale, as a parable, or as sort of a critique of bureaucracy and totalitarianism, because, like I said, since he can't get any information, not only can he not get any information about the charge, but he also can get very little information about the court. There are all these levels of the court: the lower court, all the lower judges, and then the shadowy high court, basically. He's basically caught in bureaucratic hell. So it's basically kind of told through a series of anecdotes, but it doesn't really pull together. And now that I've looked it up a little bit more after having finished it, it is an unfinished book. So I feel like that does explain a lot. It ends extremely abruptly, and then the last few chapters are called fragments, and it's basically just like a bunch of short scenes, and they're just weirdly randomly put at the end of the book. So, like I said, there's good anecdotes, but overall, it doesn't coalesce into a compelling whole, I would say. And although we never really find out what he's been charged with, and he never finds it out either, he's just like very adamant about his innocence. So Kay treats women really badly in this book, and I think that's either because his trial has something to do with his behavior towards women, i.e., maybe he was a charge, or because he's caught up in this bureaucratic mess controlled by these shadowy men. He is trying to exercise any amount of control that he does have, and in these scenarios, it's over women. I just feel like it's super boring, even though it has moments of humor. Like, the concept of it is interesting, but there's just something about it where it really drags, and it doesn't, I think part of it, the problem is it never really comes to a satisfying conclusion at the end. But it's also very exhausting to read because you just have like bricks of text here. Like, it's just a page of text. Like, the paragraphs are very long, so that makes it even more exhausting, but I think that's done intentionally to sort of explain how exhausting the trial and this bureaucratic stuff really is. The ending before the fragments is abrupt, but honestly wasn't as surprising to me as I think it should have been. I really wanted to like